This is a follow-up to my previous video about making a heart-shaped box. That one was made out of cardboard. This one is going to be made out of this scrap 2x6, I believe. I'm going to pass it through my planer. A planer is a machine that will plane one side of your board. Something that's planar is perfectly, well, flat. Someone, and a more expert woodworker would say flat is not the exact term, but for us, for our purposes, plain is flat. Plain and simple. I got this as a hand-me-down planer from one of my advocates. I guess I could say Uncle Alan. He's one of my dad's oldest friends. Well, probably, in fact, my dad's oldest friend. And we're going to trim this board down to size and then cut off two skinny sections, pieces, parts. Camera fell down. I like seeing how the camera's wandering here. I had it set it up rather unsafely on my table saw using the tripod. Now to do our bandsaw box, we call it a bandsaw box because traditionally it's made on the bandsaw. I guess you could only make it on the bandsaw. Well, you could use a coping saw. There's many ways to feed a cat. I'm going to use double-sided tape to stick these pieces back together the way they were originally, try to line up the grain. And once it's a nice, neat, tight stack, I'm going to squeeze until it's perfectly stuck together. Perfectly in quotes. And I've learned how to draw a heart pretty, quote unquote, perfectly by having drawn thousands of hearts with thousands of elementary school students and some middle school students. And here is our bandsaw. This is why we call this one a bandsaw box. I'm going to cut out the outline, do the outside shape. And after we do the outside shape, cut away all the excess. Then we're going to do an inside cut. And you might be able to see that those three pieces of wood are still taped together. We're cutting through all three at the same time. And here we're going to sand the edges pretty smooth using an electric sander. This was a hand-me-down from Uncle Dave. Now I got to use this special quick-acting glue. You put the glue on one side, activate by spraying on the other side, and then squeeze together for, the longer the better, but at least 10 seconds. And that piece split while I was cutting. Now I'm just going to use the inside chunk, the main portion of the box, and I'm going to use this technique where I'm using my finger as a follower, holding the pencil still while I follow the outside of the shape of the heart. And now I'm going to cut the outside, call this an inside cut, but I'm cutting from the outside and then I'm cutting out the inside section. Take out the first half and now cut out the second half. And we're going to be left with the outline of the heart, and these are going to be the walls of the box. There's a little crack at the bottom there. And I'm going to seal that up with the same fast-acting glue. Looks like it already worked on our heart that was broken in half. So put some of the glue inside, activate it with the activating spray, and now wrap it with tape to act as a quick clamp. And the tape will hold it tight until the glue dries. Now I'll put on the wood glue and smear it around, and then get my bottom of my heart box put on. And those weights will hold it in place until the glue can dry. While we wait for the glue to dry, this is a perfect opportunity to clean the shop. I've been so busy, I got stuff all over the place, and I got to put it back in. Take everything back to its home. There's a little bit of fun. But it was safe fun, as you'll see in a second. I had my fire extinguisher handy. Got to be safe in the shop. All right, there's our cardboard heart-shaped box. I'll take the tape off that was holding it in place. There's a gear project I'm working on. You can see the weights are doing their job a little too well. They got stuck together with the heart. Wasn't quite done, so I'll apply some more weight. And I'll use that time while I'm waiting to get started making progress on another project. This will be another wood gear project. These wood gear templates come from everyone's favorite wood engineer up in Canada, Matthias Wandel. And I'll cut those out on the bandsaw as well. Cutting out roughly each wheel and then going in to cut out the insides of the teeth. There's special names for all these parts. I can't remember right now. And as it's a wooden gear, we won't take it too seriously. All right, the tape has done its job. Unfortunately, it seems the weights were not doing their best job, and we missed a spot, and that's okay. And here's how we're going to attach this lid. I'm going to use a nail from, I think this is like a cord hanger, or it's some piece of household hardware to hold a cord in place. But the nail is a nice size, so I'm going to drill down through the lid into the wall near the bottom. I was just placing the drill bit with my finger in place. It wasn't spinning while I was touching it. I definitely wouldn't do that. But you can use your finger to get it exactly where you want it. And voila. Here's our heart-shaped box. Let's do a quick burn, everyone's favorite decorating technique. Just get a little char on the outsides, on the top. I think I did a little too much on the top, and you'll see why. Just burning and burning and sucking out that moisture. Nice and hot. And let's look at that lid. Oh, here's what the heat did. Warped it all out of proportion. That's what I get for going so fast. So don't do it the way I did it. Do better. Anyway, this was a great project. Thank you to Maker MN for suggesting it. See you next time.